Good morning, my knitters. How are you? Welcome to Recreational Knitting. This is where I discuss all the knitting related things that I've been doing in the past week, 2 weeks, whenever it happens. My name is Karen, and you're always welcome here. Thank you to those who have recently found my podcast. Just know that you're welcome here. And thank you from the bottom of my heart, those of you that keep coming back to this insanity. So I appreciate you all. Thanks to those who have contributed to my Ko-fi account, and I appreciate it. It's just wonderful. Thank you so much. I have had a crazy busy week. My 2 daughters were here to visit. It was lovely. And all the cleaning and laundry that goes along with it. Yeah, it was just wonderful. We had a great time. So let's hear about the knitting. Those of you that have been with me for a while understand that I have been participating in YarnNYarns 12 cast-ons make-along, and I'm here to talk to you about that progress, plus any other progress of projects that I have been working on since the last podcast. So let's get started. If you're new here, I participated in a little bit of a different way with Angela's 12 cast-ons. Instead of 12 new cast-ons, because I have about 30 works in progress. Yes, that would be me. Instead of doing all new, brand new cast-ons, I decided, well, let's do 6 cast-ons for the dopamine hit and pick 6 works in progress that I'd really like to get finished within the next few months. So that's what I did. The first cast-on was some socks that I've been languishing here. 3 pairs of socks off the needles and replaced by some new ones that had been languishing. New ones, yes. I think I have about 9 pairs of socks in different places. So you'll be seeing those over the course of the next few months. My goal is to finish all of those and maybe a couple more during the course of this year. But we all know that socks mojo comes and goes. I'm doing pretty good though so far. So that was a first cast on, and I continue to work on those. So let's show you the progress that I have made on my 2 new work in progress. I think the last time that I talked to you, I had both of these done. I can't remember. So I have these 2 pairs that were on the needle, and most likely this is probably my oldest yarn in my stash. This is Cherry Tree Hill yarn, and don't know what the colorway is, but it's sock yarn. It's 80/20, I believe. Sock It To Me. Does that tell you how old it is? This company's been out of the dyeing business for at least 14 years. So it may be 15 years, I'm not certain. But yes, I had this in my stash. So I had finished one, I believe, and I had just started the second one. So this is where I'm at for the second one. I'm about ready to, well, I've started the heel flap on this. I'm planning to work on this quite a bit today because I'm going to meet a friend. And I'm going to get to finish this heel flap because that's pretty easy to do. I won't be turning a heel, but I will be finishing that heel flap today. Yes. And for the second one, this, I believe, was just barely started. That seems to be what I like to do. I like to start things and then put them back in a bag to pick up later. Nobody can relate, right? Anyway, so this is the finished one. And I finished a heel flap and I'm ready to turn the heel. So this is Patton's sock yarn, and I don't know what the colorway is. I think it's an old colorway. Imagine that. And this is unidentified sock yarn of some sort. I'm not a huge fan of yellow, but I thought, oh, let's use it in a heel. And I just put a couple rows up at the top, and I'll finish off with the toe. So yes, so those are getting close. I'll continue to work on these. This will be an ongoing 12 cast on project. So as those turn over, they'll be replaced with another sock. I already have 2 that I've scoped out. Once those are finished, one is a sock that I started for Christmas 2 Christmases ago. There wasn't any hope of getting those finished for Christmas, and they got kind of buried in a larger project bag. That will be one, and another one is, I'm not sure, I can't remember off the top of my head, but there'll be 2 more that will take their place. So hopefully I'll get a lot of socks done this year and off the needle. Yeah, so that was the first one that I had decided to work on. The second one, if you've been here long enough, you know that my favorite tee in the whole world is probably this Anker summer shirt. It just fits so well. And this one is made in Remix Light. Perfect for Florida summers and winters, even though we're going to get another cold snap next week. Not like the one we had before, but so that's the Anker summer shirt. Those of you that have asked, there's one that she has for DK, one for fingering. This is a DK weight, but I just kind of adjust some numbers to get the measurements. This is the pattern that I use for each and every one of them. I've used fingering weight for that pattern, but I've adjusted the numbers. For those of you that are new, this is like my 7th one. So guess what? Number 8 is getting some progress. Whoops. Come on, yarn, help out. Help a sister out here, all right? Where the Christmas tree is where I showed you last time. So I've made some really good progress in the last couple of weeks. So yeah, this will go to knitting with me today and hopefully make some few more inches around and around. This is something that I want the project finished, and I have this much yarn left plus a full skein. This is 400 meters. This is Stranded Dye Works Stranded Elf colorway in the cotton merino base. I love this color. This is Jude's colorway in honor of his mother, who passed away several years ago, very quickly after his dad passed away. So yeah, this is a special colorway. And if that doesn't say Florida, I don't know what does. So yes, that's where I'm going with that one. I am going to work on this today and then probably put it away for a bit, even though I really want to continue to work on it. And if I need round and round knitting, I'll likely pick that up. And that's in a bag by Bink Waffle. And since we were the campers, I decided that I needed to have this project bag like it. All right, so that's 2 of the 12 cast-ons. And the third one was the grid gambit. Now, if you were with me before, you know that I had to pull back because I can't read. Yeah, I'm a very good reader. It's just that I don't read details very well, apparently, on knitting patterns. So I had to tink back probably at least 3 inches, but I've made up for it. This was where I had to tink back. No, I had to tink way back here. This is where I was when I last showed you. So I'm making good progress. I'm on C, chart C, if you're familiar with the pattern. And when my daughter was here, she claimed it. She said, oh, that'll be perfect. She said, I have several things that'll go with. So making good progress on that. This is fun, but it needs, you need to pay attention to this. Otherwise you get off a stitch or 2, or in my case, you just completely ignore what the pattern tells you to do. So I'm down to this much for my first double Sunday. Is it double Sunday? Yeah, double Sunday. So I have another one to go to. And this is some kind of universal yarn that I won. And it's an 75-25 or 80-20. Kind of looks homespun, hand spun. And I've used this for a couple of hats. I have this much balled up, ready for this project. And I have like probably 100 grams in one of these bins here that I can go to if I need it. But yeah, I'm making progress. Grid Gambit. Highly recommend the pattern. But read the instructions just to avoid a lot of problems. So yes, Grid Gambit, making lots of progress. All right, let's see what else I've been knitting on while in the background. Those are the 3 that I'm concentrating on the most, but trust me, there are other things happening. All right. Look what I made for husband. This was his Valentine/birthday gift. His birthday was yesterday, the 19th of February, and I made him the sailor slippers. I'm going to insert a picture here of what they look like before felting. As you can see, the red and the white are a little pink. You know, there's a little bleeding from the drop snow, which is what the pattern recommends. And he loves them. Yay! So he is also a Boston Celtics basketball fan. So I have agreed to make him green and white slippers. Now, I'll just tell you very quickly, the I-cord, easy to put on, but I've got a recommendation. I don't know whether you can see this. Yeah, you can see this. This lip here, this is where I joined the I-cord on this particular one. And I joined this one somewhere up in here. And you really can't see, yeah, there you can see the little lip. So my recommendation is not to do it right in the back unless you want little doot-de-doots. I don't know what you would call those, little tags. That's my only complaint about this. Using size 11 US plus, I think this is super chunky wool, and it's kind of a roving type, so it pulls apart if you pull hard on it. So you have to be kind of gentle with it. But yeah, it hurts the hands a bit. I'm not used to working with larger needles like that, so I had to pace myself. And otherwise, you could knit these probably in 2 days. I just couldn't do it because of my hands. But yes, finished object. Perfect. He loves them, he wears them, and I'll be making another pair. Green and white. Stay tuned. All right, what's the next one? This is making a reappearance into the rotation. This is my Tolsta tee. This is also made with Cherry Tree Hill yarn of the same vintage variety. I started this last June for a make-along, which I only got like through some of the raglans, and then put it away for whatever reason because I had other things. You know how it goes. Found some yarn that I just wanted to make a stripe. I didn't want to make anything that was too wild. I was going to try to do all the way across down, but I thought, no, that's enough. And I am now currently on the ribbing. And this is what I have left. I only had 3 skeins of this. This is 400 yards, so I have 1,200 yards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave those on hold. I'm going to pick up one of the arms, and I'm going to try to do the sleeves, not arms, sleeves, and see how far I can get. I'd like to make them kind of right here above my elbow. That's where, kind of like here, maybe, yeah, about there. See where I'm at with the yarn, and pretty soon have a finished top. So I will be picking those up very soon and working on some sleeves. So yeah, Tolsta Tee by Rebecca Clow. It's an excellent pattern. It's the first one of her garments that I've made, and I really, really like it. This will need a really good blocking bath. Just seems like the yarn, I don't know if when you have older yarn or whether it's just this make of yarn, but this seems to be kind of bumpy. So I think a good bath, good block will help this look a lot nicer. But yes, and this is a fingering weight, not a DK, because I know she does most of her patterns in a DK because she lives in Scotland. Florida's a little different. So I've been working on that. So that's fun. All right. Then those of you that have been here a bit know that I made the big Skrabucket. Well, guess what? But I'm about ready. This is the little one, the mini one. This will be a sock project bag. Is this not cute or what? I'm about ready to start the little kind of welt thing where you put I-cord through. Yeah. So, and I'm about ready to run out of this yarn. I'll be using this yarn to finish it off. Very, very close. This is some Cherry Hill yarn, and it's the only one that I have. I actually got this on a D-stash from a friend here who said, I don't want it. And this was made with scraps, some hand spun that was picked up at a distaff day last year, and a skein of Temu yarn, which was beautiful to work with, I have to say. It was a merino, and it was beautiful to work with. So not everything on Temu is ick, but yes, and that's living in an old Vera Bradley bag. And last work in progress. This is the Monday sweater by Petite Knit. And I'm using Juniper Moon Farm Organic Patagonia. It's a sport DK weight, and I'm putting in that the Make It Tweed by Rico. This is color number 1, which are more primary colors. They do have other colors, but I've made good progress on that recently. Here is where I was, I think, the last time I showed you. I don't think I had split for sleeves, but I've worked maybe 1.5 inches beyond the sleeves. So that should go easy from here on out. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it. The Make It Tweed does make it a little more rough because that is a polyester, but I'm pretty pleased with how it's turned out so far. I'm a little worried about the sleeves. They seem pretty darn big. We'll see. I have tried it on. It will require a garment underneath, I think, but you can't really tell. And this is non-superwash wool, so it can be felted ever so lightly if need be. But that's my only concern. And I got row gauge. So the Monday sweater does appear to have more of an ease than a lot of her raglan type sweaters. So I may have made a size too big, but I'm okay with that. Sweatshirt type sweaters are wonderful. So that's what I have for today. Now I have a bit of a surprise. I decided I'm going to find a winner from the finished objects of Finish It February and just pick a random number and award a pattern prize to that person. So Cheryl Knits, I'll put it here. Email me at recreationalknitting@gmail.com with your Ravelry name and what pattern you'd like, $10 and under, and I will send it to you. So congratulations. Isn't that a nice surprise? So keep entering. We've got about 109 finished objects so far. So keep going. We still have quite a few days in the month of February, and please get in there and try to get those objects finished and in so you too can win. I have a skein of yarn, self-striping sock yarn that's looking at me. And if you are out of country, we'll make arrangements for a pattern prize. You will get a pattern prize of less than $10. And those of you that are in the United States, I will send that skein of yarn, sock yarn, to you. Just a quick announcement before we go on. This is the yarn prize for Finish It February. And it's self-striping sock yarn, and I will throw in some stitch markers for you. And this is from Tall Pine Yarn. This is 75/25, 462 yards for the 100-gram, and it's lovely. It really is lovely. Perfect spring yarn for spring socks. So keep entering those finished objects within the Recreational Knitting Forum. And so what am I going to work on from here on out? I definitely will continue to work on socks. However, I'm going to pick 2 more, so that will make 3 that I will be working on in the next few weeks. So the 2 that I have picked are pretty fun. This is the Dingley Dell, and I'm about ready to start knitting towards the V. It's a V-neck. I'll put a picture here. It's by Isabel Kramer. And I am using Knitting for Olive the fingering weight. This is Trusty Sock by Swan City Yarns, local dyer to me, in the Cat's Meow colorway. I'm not sure what the colorway of Knitting for Olive. I've lost the ball band of the ball that I'm actually working on. So I'm not sure, but it's a oatmeal-y kind of color. And so I'm going to be working on this. So stay tuned for progress there. And since this is really quite easy to work on, this is the Elin bandana. Okay, where's that needle going? All right. This is the Elin bandana scarf. I believe that's what she calls it. And yeah, you knit until these two are gone, and then you pick up the next two and finish it out. So it's very similar to a Sophie scarf that you have an I-cord, but the stripes make it a little more interesting. So yeah, that was my initial 3 days of working on it, the initial cast on. So actually, I started with a tiny, I started back here, but had to pull back to probably about here because I had made a mistake. So it was really not a work in progress if you want to count 10 rows, but it was. So yes, I will be working on that. This is yarn by Onling. It's a Danish company, superfine wool, and the sport weight, number 2. So yes, those are the 2 additional projects that I will be working on this month, this 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever I decide. Yeah, I'm not making this about rules. Fat squirrel bag. And fat squirrel bag. So yeah, this is my fat squirrel episode. So yes. So those 2 will be added into my rotation. I will continue to work on socks as the 3rd. Likely I will pick up my Anker summer shirt in the meantime, here and there, as well as my Tolsta. So those will be in the background. These will be the ones for focus. That's it for my progress on the 12 cast-ons and just general knitting progress in general. I will be back with some part 2 of arthritis hands and what you can do to help yourself if you too are experiencing some hand pain. And keep watch for the Finish It February. And keep entering those finished objects. It's a weekend coming up, so you can finish 2, 3, 4 objects, right? All right. I hope that you have a great week, and I will see you then. Knit in peace.